Hey guys, what's up? lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the brand new action, adventure, comedy, thriller film, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. A terrible name, yes. It should literally have just been called Hobbs and Shaw. But, yeah, so this is the 9th Fast and Furious film, even though it's technically not involving Dom Toretto and his crew. It involves Luke Hobbs and Deckard Shaw. We meet Luke Hobbs in the 5th Fast and Furious film. We meet Deckard Shaw in the 7th Fast and Furious film. We meet Owen Shaw in the 6th Fast and Furious film, and then we meet Queenie Shaw, who is their mother, in the 8th Fast and Furious film. Now, in this 9th / spin-off Fast and Furious film, we meet Hattie Shaw, who is the sister, played by Kirby. What's her first name? I forget her first name. Her last name's Kirby. So it's Owen, Deckard, and Hattie Shaw are siblings, right? Queenie is their mother. Queenie has a lot of influence within England, underworld-wise. Deckard and Owen were both in the military, and Hattie was an MI6 agent, right? Okay. So we don't actually know the timeline of this film because Hobbs' daughter is in this film, right? But he keeps referencing she's 9, right? He also references that he saved the world 4 times already. So that means Fast and Furious 5 happened, Fast and Furious 6 happened, Fast and Furious 7 happened, Fast and Furious 8 happened, right? But the question is this film directly between Fast and Furious 8 and 9? Is it the same time frame as Fast and Furious 9? Is it after Fast and Furious 9? I need to know what happens in Fast and Furious 9 because I feel like it's another one of those. Tokyo Drift was the 3rd Fast and Furious, but Tokyo Drift was technically after Fast and Furious 6 because Han was still in 4, 5, and then died in 6. We got to talk about those Fast and Furious films at some point, but that's why when I was talking about Fate of the Furious, I was referencing that these films are soap operas. Who slept with who when, who's related to who's back from the dead, who fought who when. So Idris Elba has this character now called Brixton. Brixton is this biomechanic individual. He's the bionic man, basically. He is an ex-partner of Shaw's. Shaw killed him 8 years ago, but he's back from the dead, right? He's all bionic now. Whoever his overlord is, whoever these... I don't know what organization is behind this. They reference them very briefly, but that's not really how much they go into play. Apparently, Luke Hobbs has some connection to them, and then we only get touch base on it briefly. Now, why I keep mentioning I don't know the timeline of this is at the very, very end of the movie, aside from Hobbs keeps referencing his daughter is 9 years old, and it's a different actress that plays his daughter. Side note. Deckard Shaw is staring down Idris Elba's Brixton character, right? Because Hattie has this virus in her that Brixton wants to eliminate the weaker species of humans so that way evolution can rise properly, so that way humanity's not dead in 2096 as predicted. Something to that extent. But Shaw says something very specific, and no one really paid... Certain people paid attention. The people who know the film series paid attention. He said, you made me kill my brother. Now, is he referencing he killed Owen Shaw? Or is he referencing he killed Brixton when Brixton was actually human and not this bionic human bit? You know, because it's like brothers in arms. Hoorah, right? That kind of thing. Great that English people don't do the hoorah thing. But that's what the little tricky thing is. Because Owen Shaw, who is the main character of the 6th film, he was just the bad guy of the 6th film, right? We didn't know that he had siblings and a mother with influence within England and the underground and the military and government in general, right? It's interesting because Deckard Shaw became a main character in 7 and 8 and then got his own spin-off with Luke Hobbs, who again became a main character throughout the film series. Who would have thought? Give me the old school street races through the streets of LA, fighting off Johnny Tran and his little cartel, stealing the electronics and the gas and stuff. Man, like, take me back. But no, I like how this stuff is now. I like the world building that this truly brings. This film is so hilarious, and it's going to make so much money. Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham actually produced this film. What's also interesting is that David Leitch directed this film. This is the first David Leitch directed film. Last thing we've seen him do is Deadpool 2. And then all of a sudden, Ryan Reynolds appears out of nowhere in this film as a CIA agent who has history with Hobbs. And they, hash things out and relive the glory days sarcastically, and absolutely hilarious. The cameos that Ryan Reynolds has as this CIA agent. And it makes perfect sense that if David Leitch was working with Ryan Reynolds on Deadpool 2, to throw him in Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, but it works. What I also love is how there's this whole little tiff that Ryan Reynolds goes on with the series finale of Game of Thrones, and he's bitching about Jon Snow slept with his aunt and then killed her, and what the hell's up with that? And that happened only a couple months ago. So that means that they specifically needed to wait until it aired, so that way they could just do a quick little shoot of Ryan in an office complaining on a cell phone. Brilliant. Brilliant means, which then tells me that Game of Thrones is canon in the Fast and Furious film series. Who would have thought? Who would have ever... If you told me this 20 years ago, I would have laughed my ass off. Laughed my ass off. Hysterical. Oh my god, hysterical. Getting Hobbs and Shaw together as the film series is, how it's predicted. They're both given this task of stopping this virus from being stolen and infected, and it turns out that Hattie Shaw is the one who has the virus actually in her. She pricked herself with it to make sure it's safe, and then everyone thought she was a terrorist, and then everybody thought that they were all terrorists. So it was this whole big thing. They eventually get to Samoa, which is how they keep saying it, Samoa, not Samoa, not Samoan, Samoa. And it was a beautiful seeing this whole tribal family culture aspect of this civilization on this island that I didn't really know much about. I just knew the tribal tattoos. I knew the Maori, I can't say the word, Maori kind of dance, the war dance, praying to the gods and the ancestors. It was just so awesome, and these guys were ripped playing these warrior characters. It was just great. We see Hobbs' mom. The battle at the end on Samoa is really awesome, but I really loved how we got some backstories on Deckard and Hattie, when they were kids. And we got backstories on Luke and his brother Jonah when they were kids. What happened with their family and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying, man. If you don't know this film series, if you don't know these characters, you're not going to understand why these character developments throughout the decades are really cool, are really smart, and really sophisticated. Bringing drones actually into the mix with these transforming motorcycles, it just makes sense bringing it into a modern age. So good on you, Universal. We didn't actually get a short film of Jurassic World Battle of Big Rock, which a lot of Jurassic fans were expecting because it's a Universal property blockbuster with a Universal property blockbuster Fast and Furious franchise. So yeah, so I have questions. What timeline are we on? What happened to Owen Shaw? Because the last time we saw Owen Shaw is when he and Deckard attacked Cypher's plane to get Brian Toretto, baby Brian, off the plane. The last time we actually see Owen is with a gun to the pilot's head, forcing him to land the plane safely. That's the last time we see him. Even Queenie Shaw, Helen Mirren, the goddess that she is, doesn't even mention Owen in this film. So, what happened to Owen Shaw? Luke Evans, tell me, what happened to your character? I need to know. Man, 9 films, man. I gotta get the soundtrack now. I have every CD, literal physical CD from every 8 films, dating back to the very, very first one. It's rough. It's crazy. Crazy, man. I have my beautiful Fast and Furious wall collection. Pretty much just Brian's cars, but I'm a fan. I have my Fast and Furious tattoo right here. It's a tiny little outline of a skyline. Just for our dear old Buster. Tune on white, no crust. Yeah. What's up with Owen Shaw? Where is Owen Shaw? I need to know. Mucho mahalo, guys.